Welcome back to the KCC. This is Kenny's Chelsea channel, and today we're going to be previewing the match on Matchday 19, last game of the year 2024, Ipswich Town versus Chelsea. Now, before we get started, I do want to let you guys know I would very much appreciate it if you guys hit a subscribe to the channel. Make sure to smash the like button on this video. Smash it as hard as you believe Chelsea is about to smash Ipswich Town this Monday. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let's get a conversation started and let's grow this community. All right, so back to business. It's match day 19. We're playing on a Monday, a pretty unusual day to play a match. And then also, it's going to be the last match of the calendar year 2024. And we're playing against none other than Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town, a newly promoted side to the Premier League this season, managed by Kieran McKenna. Kieran McKenna is a coach that was heavily linked to joining Chelsea in the summer before we ended up appointing Enzo Maresca, who managed Leicester City, another team that was promoted to the Premier League this season. So these two managers know each other very well from playing head-to-head against each other last season, as they were the top two teams. Enzo Maresca's Leicester City gained automatic promotion by winning the championship last season, and Kieran McKenna came in second place. In the two matches that they faced each other, Leicester City versus Ipswich Town, in the championship last season, both games ended in a draw. So all I know is now Kieran McKenna is still stuck with lowly side Ipswich Town that are sitting 19th placed, more than likely to get relegated again back to the championship, while Enzo Maresca stepped up to the plate and joined the big boys, Chelsea, and he's been doing a phenomenal job so far this season. But let's see. Kieran McKenna and Enzo Maresca know each other's tactics, and of course they were able to find two draws last season in the championship, where Enzo Maresca was managing a side with much less quality than he has at his disposal this season. So I do believe we shouldn't have any issue mopping the floor with these guys. But let's see, guys. We've dropped points now in two consecutive matches. We're not ending the year on a strong note, but we have started very well nonetheless. So I don't think it's time to enter crisis mode. I don't think it's time to panic. I think it's time to regroup and refocus on the task at hand, and that task is getting into Champions League for next season. The title race, we were never in it. What title race? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Title race, leave that up to Liverpool. Leave that up to Arsenal. If Manchester City somehow pull it together, forget about that. Manchester City and Manchester United. Manchester, like I've been seeing all over Instagram, Manchester is nor blue or red. Manchester is dead. So we can forget about both Manchester sides having any hopes of anything this season. But I guess you can say Arsenal are still in contention, and Liverpool seem to be clear favorites running away with the title this season. Arne Slot's been doing a wonderful job there, picking up exactly where Jurgen Klopp left off, which is something that I wish I could say Enzo Maresca is doing here at Chelsea, which Pochettino did leave us on a good note. He did end the season on a strong note last year, but I was looking through the calendar year 2024 because I had a feeling we did great, because I know Pochettino really stepped it up towards the end of last season, and I know Enzo Maresca has been doing a great job so far in the first half of this season. So I went through it and I calculated it all. And to my surprise, in the calendar year of 2024, in all competitive matches, Chelsea have won 33 matches, drawn 11, and lost 11 matches. So we've definitely been improving over the last couple seasons since the Todd Bowley Baghdad Valley takeover, and we're definitely on a positive trajectory. So getting into the match, let's take a look here. Ipswich Town is in 19th place, like we mentioned. They have been averaging less than 1 goal per game, and they've been conceding on average about 2 goals per game. So they haven't been getting wrecked by all the teams this season. I think their worst loss has been 4-1 to, I believe it was Liverpool. Most of their games, they've been able to either draw or lose by a pretty close margin. They only have 2 wins, but they have 6 draws and 9 losses. So, of course, they have not been playing great. It's Ipswich Town. Wouldn't expect them to. But I do think they can propose certain threats. They have that young striker that even Chelsea have been keeping an eye on, Liam Delap, who comes from the Manchester City Academy, so I'm sure Enzo Maresca knows him very well. And aside from that, they don't seem to be a very exciting team this season. They were very exciting under Kieran McKenna last season in the championship, but of course now playing against much heavier competition, they haven't really been able to keep up and win many matches at all. As you can see, only 2 wins so far in the Premier League this season, but 6 draws and 9 losses. Like I said, most of those losses have been very close. So Chelsea should have no problem coming away with the win and the 3 points to end the year strong, end the year with a statement W. So if we look at Chelsea's record, they're almost completely the opposite of what Ipswich Town is. So Ipswich Town is averaging less than 1 goal scored per game and conceding about 2 goals per game. Chelsea is the opposite. We're scoring about 2 goals per game and conceding about 1 goal per game. So in this match, I don't see us winning 2-1. Honestly, I see more of 2-0. I don't think they should be able to propose enough of a threat for us to concede a goal. But let's see, guys. With how we've been playing, nothing's certain right now. So first, let's get into the 11 that I predict Enzo Maresca to start the match with against Ipswich Town. I do expect a bit of rotation. He did mention in the press conference that there could be 1, 2, even maybe 3 or 4 changes to the lineup that we saw just a couple days ago against Fulham. So this is the predicted 11 that I expect Enzo Maresca to field. I expect him to continue with Robert Sanchez in goal, as I don't really feel like Malo Gusto should be getting into this 11 right now. I'm a big fan of Malo Gusto, but it doesn't seem like he's fitting in very well in this system. He's not a back three type of defender, and he's not the type of player that we've seen that is able to invert into the midfield and be effective going forward. So I think really he's just very similar to Ben Chilwell on the left side, where he just needs to be bombing up and down that flank, putting in crosses, defending 1v1 against the winger. But that isn't the type of system we're playing this season, and it seems like Malo Gusto has kind of looked like a square peg in a round hole these last couple matches. So as much as I would love for him to succeed, as he has been a beautiful replacement to Reece James, who has been injured for the last few seasons, and he did great under Pochettino last season, it just doesn't seem to be working out too well this season with Malo Gusto. But I do expect Enzo Maresca to continue leaving Malo Gusto in the side in the meantime, next to Tosin Adarabioyo and Levi Colwill, as I expect with Benoit Badiashile and Wesley Fofana still out injured. I do expect that back line to be, more of the same. Gusto, Tosin, Colwell, and Marco Correa. In the midfield, once again, we don't have many options. So Caicedo and Enzo, they've been playing great these last few matches, and there's just really no one else that can replace them right now at this stage. I would hope to see in these matches against lower level sides that we could maybe see a more, because we have so much attacking threat that just seems to be rotting away on the bench. I would like to see if maybe we can throw in some more attacking players into the starting 11, but it seems like Enzo Maresca is extremely focused on keeping that balance, which I do think is important. But in these type of matches where I do feel like we should be winning more comfortably, I would like to see Maresca kind of be a little more bold and go for it in throwing in more attacking players in the starting 11, but I just don't see it happening at this moment. And then with the front line, I do see Cole Palmer, of course, staying in that number 10 position. That's his for the next 10 years until something drastic happens. And then on the wings, I do expect to see change. I don't think Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto had very good games against Fulham. So I do see Noni Madueke coming into the side. Enzo Maresca has been talking about how he left him out in the last match against Fulham over a technical decision. I don't think that makes any sense because he didn't have any out and out wingers in on the bench the last game against Fulham, and we could have definitely used him. So I think that was definitely more of a disciplinary thing that he doesn't want to get into during the press conference and making it public. But it definitely seems like it's been some sort of issue that Maresca has with Madueke's training or his attitude, or there's definitely something there that's causing Madueke to not even be selected for the matchday squad. But after this was already brought up in the press conference, I don't think Madueke is the type of player to know that there's something wrong with the coach and continue on this bad streak. I think he's just going to take it as another level of motivation that's going to get him into the starting 11 and take that right wing spot. Especially with so many games coming thick and fast, we're going to need some sort of rotation. So I do see Noni Madueke starting on the right with Joao Felix, who's been iced out of the Premier League matches now for a while. I do expect him to get the start. He did start last time against Southampton, and I do believe he had a very great game, and he hasn't really had a sniff since. I think he's played like 1 minute in the Premier League ever since that Southampton game. And I do consider this game against Ipswich Town to be extremely similar to the Southampton match we played about a month ago. For one, they're both newly promoted sides. And for another, even though I feel like Enzo Maresca is probably going to have a lot more respect for Ipswich Town than he had for Southampton, I do believe that this is another midweek match, which we've normally seen a lot of heavy rotation in the midweek. Of course, I think the Southampton game was on a Thursday, which is usually the typical day that we were playing our Conference League matches. And then this game is coming on a Monday. So it's almost like a weekend match. It's a very strange day to have a game. So with all the matches we've been having lately, I do expect some rotation, and I do expect to see Joao Felix starting at left wing with Nico Jackson up front, keeping his place, of course. Now, if we look now, this is my preferred 11. You're not going to see too many changes to my predicted 11, but I do expect to see, same way how in the Southampton game was the only match in the Premier League that Enzo Maresca gave Jorgensen the opportunity to show what he's got. I do think this game against Ipswich Town should be the same thought. Let's give Jorgensen another game in the Premier League, see how he does, give him more opportunities against more competitive sides, because even though Ipswich Town is probably going to be one of the easier teams we're going to face in the Premier League, it's still going to be a lot tougher than the teams we've been playing against in the Conference League, where we've been seeing the displays of Philip Jorgensen. Then at right back, instead of Malo Gusto, like I was saying, I haven't been too happy with his performances lately. I would love to see Josh Achimpong come in for Malo Gusto and show what he's got. I think he's got the build, he's got the frame to compete in the Premier League. He's a big, strong player. Although he's young, he has the technical abilities and the physical strength, I believe, to be able to put a good shift in the Premier League. So especially in a game like this against Ipswich, I think would be a good opportunity to see what Josh Achimpong can do in the starting 11 in the Premier League and playing mostly in that back three, as I do expect us to keep Cucurella on the side. And Cucurella obviously can be that inverting midfielder coming in to that 10 or that 8 position and then leaving Achimpong in the back three, where I think is going to suit him a lot better and he's going to be able to show off his strengths a lot more than Malo Gusto will be able to. And then aside from those two changes that I would add, I would love to see some substitutions, of course, later on in the game. So it's end of the year. We've had a lot of games. If we're winning comfortably by the 60th minute or the 70th minute, let's bring off Cole Palmer. Let's replace him with Nkunku, for example. Same thing with Nico Jackson. Let's take off Nico. Let's put in Mark Guiu. Let's see what Guiu can do in the Premier League. He hasn't had many chances in the Premier League either. But in the Conference League, he's been playing amazing. He was on a hot streak. He scored 5 goals in 2 games. And I don't think that should go unnoticed because he's a pressing monster. And against a lower side that are going to try to play out from the back, I think Mark Guiu would be perfect for that, especially if he comes on later in the match against some tired legs. So hopefully we can come away with at least a 2-0 victory against Ipswich Town. That is my score prediction. I'm being a little humble there. I do think we can definitely put more goals past them. We definitely have the options in attack to be able to score at least 3 or 4 past Ipswich. But just based off our last couple results, I'm going to be a little humble here, and I'm going to go ahead and say 2-0. I'd be happy with that. I would be extremely disappointed if we're not able to keep a clean sheet, and we definitely have to go for all 3 points. We cannot settle for anything less. So, thank you for joining me on this match preview of Matchday 19, Ipswich Town versus Chelsea. One last thing before I go, guys. Once again, I will mention, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, drop a comment down below, and I will see you guys on the next one when we go over the match review after the match. So, thank you for staying tuned, guys. Peace.